The day my boss tried to control my wedding. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video. My boss looked me straight in the eye and said, "If you invite those people to your wedding, you can kiss your promotion goodbye." I smiled calmly and replied, "Perfect. Then you can kiss your star employee goodbye." What happened next completely shattered her corporate kingdom and gave me the most satisfying victory of my career. I'm Daniel, 29, and this workplace nuclear explosion happened just 4 months ago. My fiancée, Amanda, 27, and I had been together for 5 years, engaged for 10 months. Everything was going smoothly until my boss, Victoria Sterling, 52, decided she had executive authority over my personal life. Victoria was the regional director at Morrison & Associates Marketing, and she ran her department like a military dictatorship. She had this way of making everything about her. Your successes were because of her guidance, your failures were your incompetence, and somehow your personal life was still her business. The bomb dropped on a Thursday afternoon. Victoria knocked on my office door. She never knocked, so I knew something was brewing. "Daniel, we need to discuss your wedding guest list," she said, settling into the chair across from my desk like she owned the place. "What about it?" I asked, not looking up from my computer. "You mentioned inviting people from that startup." She said startup like it was a contagious disease. "Yeah, my closest friends work at Digital Dreams." "What?" Victoria's smile was razor sharp. "You're up for the senior account manager position. That's a $40,000 raise and a corner office. But promotions at this level require discretion." "I'm not following." "The Hendersons will be at your wedding. So will the Blackstone Group executives. These are million-dollar clients, Daniel. They need to see that you associate with quality people. Your friends from that tech startup in their hoodies and sneakers? That's not exactly the image we want to project." My blood started to simmer. "These are my closest friends. My best man worked with me there for 3 years." "Your best man?" She looked genuinely horrified. "Daniel, you can't be serious. What will the clients think when they see some programmer in a cheap suit giving a speech about video games and energy drinks? He's a software engineer who makes 6 figures, and he's one of the smartest people I know. But he's not our kind of people. Look, I'm trying to help you here. I've taken the liberty of compiling a list of more appropriate guests." She pulled out a leather folder from her briefcase. "Partners from the firm, executives from our biggest clients, some influential people from the country club. These are connections that will benefit your career." I stared at the folder like it was a poisonous snake. "You made a guest list for my wedding?" "I made a better guest list. Daniel, you need to understand something. Your wedding isn't just a party. It's a networking event. It's a chance to solidify relationships that will define your career trajectory." "It's my wedding, Victoria, not a corporate mixer." Her expression hardened. "And it's my promotion you're gunning for. Let me be very clear about something. The partners are watching who you associate with. If you want to advance in this company, you need to show that you have the social intelligence to navigate at the executive level." "Are you seriously threatening my career over my wedding guest list?" "I'm not threatening anything. I'm explaining reality. The promotion committee meets next month. If they see photos of you celebrating with a bunch of tech bros and startup refugees, what do you think that says about your judgment?" The silence in my office was deafening. Then I started laughing. Not a happy laugh. The kind of laugh that happens when something breaks inside you and you suddenly see everything clearly. "You know what, Victoria? You're absolutely right." She looked pleased. "I'm glad you're being reasonable about this." "Oh, I'm being completely reasonable. You're right that this promotion is important, and you're right that my wedding guests will say something about my judgment. That's why I'm withdrawing my name from consideration for the promotion." Victoria's smile faltered. "Excuse me. You heard me. I don't want to work for a company where my boss thinks she can dictate my personal relationships. I don't want to advance in an organization where my friends aren't considered quality people." I picked up my phone and dialed while Victoria sat there, stunned. "Hey, Mike. Yeah, it's Daniel. Remember how you said there was always a place for me at Digital Dreams if I wanted to come back? Well, I'm interested." Victoria shot to her feet. "Daniel, hang up that phone right now." I held up a finger. "Mike, can I call you back in 5 minutes? I need to quit my job first." After I hung up, Victoria was practically vibrating with rage. "You cannot be serious." "I'm dead serious. I've been here for 4 years, Victoria. I've brought in 3 major clients. I've won the company 2 industry awards, and I've worked nights and weekends without complaint. But the moment I won't let you control my wedding guest list, You threaten my career? That tells me everything I need to know about what kind of leader you are. You're making a huge mistake. Digital Dreams is a joke compared to Morrison and Associates. Maybe, but at least my friends there respect me enough not to blackmail me over my wedding invitations. I started packing my personal items while Victoria stood there, apparently unable to process what was happening. The Henderson campaign, she said weakly. You're in the middle of the Henderson campaign. I'll send you my files before I leave. I'm sure someone from your Quality People network can take over. I walked out of Morrison and Associates that day and never looked back. The first thing I did was call Amanda and tell her what happened. Her response was perfect. I'm so proud of you. I was wondering when you'd finally see Victoria for what she really is. 3 weeks later, the real satisfaction began. I was settled into my new old job at Digital Dreams, working on exciting projects and remembering why I'd loved startup culture. The pay was actually comparable, and the work-life balance was infinitely better. That's when my former colleague Sarah called with news that made my entire year. Daniel, you need to hear this. Victoria is in full panic mode. Why? What happened? Remember the Henderson campaign? She assigned it to Robert. You know, the guy who got promoted because his dad plays golf with the partners. I remembered Robert. Nice enough guy, but he'd never worked on anything bigger than a local restaurant chain. He completely botched the presentation. Like, catastrophically. Mixed up all the demographics, presented last year's market research, and suggested they target their luxury product to college students on a budget. I winced. Ouch. It gets worse. The Hendersons were so offended they pulled their entire account. That's $2.3 million in annual revenue, gone. Holy shit. But here's the best part. Victoria had been bragging to James Henderson at the country club about how she was shaping your career, how she was teaching you about networking with the right people. She even mentioned your wedding and how she was helping you curate your guest list. My stomach dropped. She told the client about my wedding? She told the client that she was basically controlling your personal life to make you a better employee. James Henderson was disgusted. He said it reminded him of everything he hated about corporate culture. I was laughing despite myself. So she lost the account because she bragged about the exact behavior that made me quit? It gets even better. James Henderson has been telling everyone at the country club about Victoria's little speech. Her reputation with the quality people she cares so much about is completely shot. The domino effect was spectacular. Within a month, Victoria had lost 2 more major clients, not because of incompetence, but because word had spread about her management style. The partners were asking serious questions about her leadership. 6 weeks after I quit, Amanda and I had the most incredible wedding. It was everything we dreamed of, intimate, joyful, and filled with people who genuinely loved us. Jake's best man speech was hilarious and heartfelt, bringing the house down with stories about our startup adventures and inside jokes about late-night coding sessions. The photos were amazing, not because we had quality people posing for the camera, but because every single person there was genuinely happy to be celebrating with us. You could see the real joy in every picture, friends laughing, families mixing, everyone dancing and having the time of their lives. I posted some photos on LinkedIn with a caption about celebrating with the people who matter most. It was subtle, but anyone who knew the story would understand the message. Victoria saw the post. I know because she sent me a private message. Congratulations on your wedding. I hope you're happy with your choices. I replied, I am. I hope you're happy with yours too. 2 months later, the final twist arrived. Sarah called me with news that made my entire year. Daniel, you are not going to believe this. Victoria got fired. What? What? The partners finally did a full review of her department. Between the lost clients, the employee turnover, and the general toxic culture, they decided she was more liability than asset. But the final straw was when another junior employee filed a complaint about her trying to control his personal life. Someone else. She told him he couldn't date someone from a competitor company because it looked bad for the firm. The guy recorded the conversation and sent it to HR. I felt a mix of satisfaction and sadness. Damn, the best part? They offered you your old job back, with the promotion, and a $15,000 raise on top of that because they're desperate to get the Henderson account back. I thought about it for exactly 3 seconds. Tell them thanks, but I'm good. I like working somewhere that respects my judgment, including my judgment about who I choose to associate with. The perfect epilogue. Amanda and I are coming up on our 4-month anniversary, and our marriage is stronger than ever. The foundation we built by standing up for our values from the very beginning has made us a solid team. My career at Digital Dreams has been incredible. I'm working on cutting-edge projects, I'm respected by my colleagues, and I'm actually excited to go to work every day. The company culture values creativity, authenticity, and treating people like human beings. The friends Victoria thought weren't quality people have become even more important to us. They supported us through the whole ordeal, and seeing their genuine happiness at our wedding reminded me why I valued their friendship in the first place. As for Victoria, I heard through the grapevine that she's struggling to find another position. Apparently, word has spread in the industry about her management style. The quality people she was so obsessed with don't want to work with someone who has a reputation for being controlling and toxic. 2 weeks ago, I ran into Victoria at a coffee shop downtown. She looked diminished. Gone was the perfectly styled hair and power suit. She was wearing jeans and a sweater, and she looked like she hadn't slept well in months. She saw me and hesitated, clearly debating whether to approach. Finally, she walked over. "Daniel," she said quietly, "congratulations on your marriage. I saw the photos online. It looked lovely." "Thank you," I replied, keeping my tone neutral. "I owe you an apology. I was wrong to try to control your wedding guest list. I was wrong about a lot of things." I studied her face. She looked genuinely regretful, but also broken. "I appreciate that, Victoria. I've had a lot of time to think about my priorities. Losing my job, losing my reputation, it made me realize I'd lost sight of what actually matters. What matters? Treating people with respect. Recognizing that success isn't just about climbing ladders. It's about maintaining your integrity while you climb." I nodded. "That's a hard lesson to learn. The hardest. I spent so much time trying to control other people's lives that I lost control of my own." She paused. "Your friends from Digital Dreams, they really are quality people, aren't they?" I smiled. "The best. I'm sorry I couldn't see that before. I'm sorry I tried to make you choose between your career and your values." "Apology accepted, Victoria. I hope you find somewhere that's a better fit for you." She nodded and walked away, and I realized I felt genuinely sorry for her. She'd built her entire identity around corporate climbing and social positioning, and when that structure collapsed, she was left with nothing. But I also felt grateful. Her attempt to control my life had forced me to examine my own values and make a choice. And that choice had led me to everything I have now. A marriage built on mutual respect, a career that fulfills me, and friendships that are based on genuine connection rather than networking potential. The lesson that changed everything. Sometimes the people who try to limit us end up liberating us instead. Victoria tried to shrink my world to fit her vision of success. Instead, she helped me expand it to include everything that actually matters. The wedding she wanted me to have would have been beautiful, impressive, and completely hollow. The wedding I actually had was joyful, authentic, and absolutely perfect. Victoria wanted a wedding that reflected her values: status over substance, appearances over authenticity, networking over genuine celebration. She got exactly what she deserved: a ruined reputation, a lost career, and the knowledge that her quality people turned on her the moment she became a liability. Sometimes the best revenge is just refusing to play someone else's game. Victoria tried to make my wedding about her professional networking goals. Instead, she ended up networking herself right out of a job. And I got the wedding of my dreams, the marriage of my dreams, and the career of my dreams. All because I refused to let someone else define what quality means in my life. The promotion she dangled in front of me? I didn't need it. What I needed was to work for people who respected my judgment, including my judgment about who deserves to be in my life. Victoria thought she was teaching me about success. Instead, she taught me about integrity. And that lesson has been worth more than any promotion could ever be. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.